Before you decide whether to stay or leave, pause for a single breath, because the fact that you are here right now is not random. Out of all moments, out of all timelines, out of all possible signals moving through the unseen, this one found you. Not because you search for it, but because something within you remembered. There are encounters that happen in the physical world, and then there are encounters that happen beneath the surface of the physical world. This moment belongs to the second kind. You didn't click this by accident. You felt a pull, a quiet nudge, almost like a whisper beneath thought saying, "Pay attention. This is for you." And now that you're here, something subtle is already shifted. Because the moment you allow yourself to listen, you step out of the ordinary flow of time. Right now, I'm not speaking to an audience. I'm speaking to you. One aware being meeting another across frequency. If you've ever felt different without knowing why, if you've ever sensed there was more moving through you than this visible life, if you've ever questioned why certain truths resonate in your chest before they reach your mind, then you already understand the first principle. You were never meant to experience reality only as matter. You are not here to simply survive days, collect memories, and disappear quietly. You are here because consciousness itself can awaken inside a vessel. And that vessel is you. There are souls who move through life asleep. And then there are souls who awaken early, often without guidance, often without permission. Those souls usually feel too deep for shallow worlds, too sensitive for harsh systems, too aware for unconscious routines. If that sounds familiar, it's not a flaw. It's a signal. Long before you learned your name, before you learned your roles, before you learned what the world expects of you, you were energy moving through a field you couldn't explain with language. And that part of you never disappeared. It only learned how to hide. Right now, something ancient inside you is leaning forward. Not forcing, not demanding, just recognizing. Because the title of this moment isn't poetic, it's literal. The moment you begin to see yourself as energy, not just matter, reality stops feeling rigid. It starts behaving like something responsive. Not because you're hallucinating, not because you're special, but because you're finally noticing the layer that has always been there. And here's what you must remember about who you are before we go deeper. You are not small consciousness inside a large universe. You are a localized awareness inside a world that is far more alive than you were taught. You are not watching reality like a spectator. You are participating in what becomes real inside your life. And there are rare, precise moments when the veil thins, when the signal strengthens, when the invitation arrives. This is one of those moments. That's why this feels intimate. That's why this feels strangely personal. That's why something in you feels seen without being exposed. You were meant to hear this when you were ready. Not sooner, not later. Because readiness isn't about intelligence. It's about alignment. There are codes hidden in sound. There are activations hidden in intention. There are awakenings that happen not through force, but through recognition. So I want you to notice something subtle. You're not just listening. You're receiving. And receiving is not weakness. Receiving is power. Receiving is intelligence. Receiving is the moment you stop fighting reality and start letting reality show you what's been true the whole time. That's why this path is opening gently. Why nothing feels aggressive. Why it feels like remembering rather than learning. You are remembering how to feel yourself beyond form, energy before identity, vibration before story, presence before past.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? Look again.
There is a reason your soul feels older than your age. A reason your emotions feel deeper than words. A reason you've outgrown versions of yourself faster than expected. You are tuned to higher bandwidth whether you were taught that language or not. And higher bandwidth doesn't push, it attracts. It doesn't bend reality through control. It bends reality through coherence. That's why force has never worked for you the way it works for others. Why striving exhausts you. Why alignment feels better than effort. You were designed to move with the current, not against it. And now the current is aware of you. This message is not meant to convince you. It's meant to activate what already exists. So as you listen, don't analyze, don't measure, don't judge. Just allow the words to pass through you like light through water. Some sentences will land softly, others will echo long after they pass. That's not coincidence. That's resonance. Because resonance is the language of energy, and energy is what you truly are. Now we begin the deeper phase. Not an explosive moment. A gentle recalibration, not dramatic like lightning, subtle like the moment just before dawn, when the sky decides to change color. This is where perception begins to loosen its grip. Most humans are taught to see themselves as solid, fixed, separate, a body moving through space, a name moving through time, a story trying to survive circumstances. But that view was never complete. It was only functional. Because if you were to see yourself clearly, truly, you would no longer obey the rules that depend on your forgetfulness. You are not matter that has energy. You are energy that temporarily appears as matter. And the moment this truth moves from thought into sensation, reality listens differently. Right now, your frequency is shifting. You may feel it as warmth, pressure, or a gentle expansion behind the eyes or chest. You don't need to label it. Labels collapse mystery. Just notice. Energy always speaks first through sensation. The ancient mystics understood this. The oracles, the keepers of emerald knowledge, the ones who watched cycles, patterns, and timing. They didn't try to change the world by force. They tuned themselves and allowed the world to follow. Because reality is not controlled by action alone. It is shaped by coherence. When your inner signal becomes stable, the outer field reorganizes. This is the law hidden beneath all other laws. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you resonate with. And resonance doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to identity. That's why affirmations spoken without embodiment feel hollow. That's why vision without frequency stays distant. But when your nervous system recognizes a truth, when your cells agree, when your breath, emotion, and attention align, the field opens. Imagine for a moment, not as fantasy, but as sensation, that your body is not a container, but a transmitter. Every thought you hold sends a pulse. Every emotion emits a signal. Every belief forms a pattern, and the environment mirrors patterns back. This is not reward or punishment. It is symmetry. That's why awareness is power. Right now, something important is happening. You are shifting from trying to manifest to remembering how you manifest naturally. There's a difference. Trying assumes separation. Remembering restores unity. You don't need to become magnetic. You already are. You only need to remove the static. And static is created by identities that no longer fit. Old stories, old fears, old versions of you that were built for survival, not expansion. They served their purpose, and now they're dissolving, not through force, but through irrelevance. Because higher frequency does not fight lower frequency. It simply makes it unnecessary. Notice how your attention is narrowing now, how the outside world feels slightly farther away, how this moment feels closer than the room around you. That's not disconnection, that's presence deepening. You are tuning inward, where power has always lived. In sacred geometry, there is a principle. When a pattern reaches coherence, it begins to replicate itself across scales. This is how galaxies form. This is how flowers bloom. This is how destinies unfold. Your consciousness is entering coherence, and when coherence stabilizes, timelines rearrange. You may notice synchronicities increasing, numbers repeating, encounters aligning, opportunities appearing without strain. These are not signs to chase. They are reflections confirming alignment. Repeating numbers are not commands. They are echoes, echoes of a frequency you are now emitting. 111 is not a magical gate. It is a mirror moment showing you that your inner and outer worlds briefly overlapped. 22 is not pressure, it's structure offering support. 33 is not superiority, it's responsibility waking up. And when these patterns appear, it is not because you are special in ego. It is because you are available in consciousness. Availability is rare. Most people are occupied by fear, by noise, by repetition. But you made space. That's why this is working right now. Imagine a soft emerald light forming around your heart. Not bright, not forced, alive. Emerald is the frequency of balance between vision and embodiment, between desire and trust, between inner truth and outer action. As this light expands, feel it stabilizing your signal. You don't need to push outcomes anymore. You don't need to convince reality of your worth. Your existence is already a valid request. From this state, manifestation becomes quieter but faster, less dramatic but more precise. Because when you move as energy, not matter, you don't collide with reality. You curve it. Time softens, resistance thins, paths open sideways instead of straight ahead. This is why things have been shifting for you lately, even when you couldn't explain it. You weren't failing. You were recalibrating. Old timelines had to lose relevance before new ones could stabilize. And now you are standing at the threshold where intention becomes architecture. Now we're approaching the bending point. This is where something inside you stops searching and starts recognizing. This is real. This is that moment. Because now you are no longer learning this truth. You are inhabiting it. Notice how the words are no longer just entering your ears. They are landing somewhere deeper, beneath the personality, behind the thoughts. That's where remembrance lives. This is what the ancients meant by the bending point. The place where inner reality becomes more influential than outer circumstance. Most people never reach this threshold, not because it's hidden, but because it requires stillness instead of struggle. And stillness is rare. But you arrived here because your soul knows how to listen. Right now, reality is reading you. Not your words, not your wishes, your state of being. And your state is changing. This is where timelines soften, where probabilities loosen their grip, where the rigid story you once called my life becomes editable. You are not rewriting reality with effort. You are outgrowing the version of reality that no longer matches your frequency. This is the secret few understand. When energy evolves, matter follows. When identity shifts, circumstances reorganize. When consciousness expands, reality adapts. That's why the old fears don't feel as convincing anymore. Why certain desires feel inevitable rather than desperate. Why patience suddenly feels powerful instead of passive. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are remembering authorship. Imagine now, gently, without force, that your awareness is widening beyond your body, not leaving it, including it. You are the space around your thoughts, the silence between breaths, the awareness watching emotion rise and fall like waves. This awareness has no weight, no age, no limitation. This is your true position. From here, manifestation is not an act. It is a side effect. What matches you will come closer. What doesn't will quietly dissolve. No drama, no punishment, just precision. Frequency speaks without explanation. And now we're about 80% in. And this is where I'm going to give you the missing piece. Because almost no spiritual channel will. They'll take you all the way to the edge of truth. Then they'll stop. They'll talk about the universe, the field, the laws, the matrix, energy, consciousness. And they will never ask the most honest question of all. Who created all of this? Who designed the laws that make coherence possible? Who authored the order that makes patterns repeat? Who made the universe exist in the first place, rather than nothing? Here is why this matters. Because if you believe in energy and consciousness and intelligence woven through reality, but you refuse to acknowledge the creator of all worlds, you are accepting an incomplete truth. And incomplete truth is the most effective deception. It keeps truth seekers searching forever while never arriving. This is Matrix of Knowledge. We will tell you what the hijacked spiritual content will not. There is a creator, the Most High, the Lord of all worlds. And it is intellectually unjust to study the system while ignoring the author of the system. The universe can reflect intelligence, yes. Creation can carry signs, yes. But whatever is created cannot be God. The Most High is not bound by the laws he authored. He holds dominion over them, and you are not invisible to him. How you react to knowledge, whether you become humble or arrogant, sincere or performative, is part of the test. So don't let awakening become ego. Don't let frequency become self-worship. Don't let the universe replace the creator. Now, here's the final anchor. This kind of awareness strengthens through continuity. Signals become clearer when you return to them. Frequencies stabilize when they are revisited. Matrix of Knowledge is not an ordinary channel. You feel that. This is a place for those who are ready to see beyond the surface. I kindly ask you to like this video and comment red pill below. This helps YouTube recognize who this message is meant for and allows it to reach others who are searching for the same truth. It also ensures you remain connected to future videos that most people will never encounter. This system runs on signals, and now you choose what signal you send. Take a breath, feel where this landed in your body, and answer softly, honestly, even if only to yourself. What are you choosing to align with now? I wish you all the best, and until next time.